Turn up the AC hot takes. You know what it is. It's your boy Fiddles Jr. Vargas Dynasty going up. Don't act like you don't know. We're the only three brothers that really running shit in the boxing game.
You know, the one thing about Keith Thurman, and the biggest complaint to all my fans and all the haters out there is Keith once upon a time Thurman. Where has he been? What has he done? You know, so let's just stay moving. Let's just keep this momentum going. Whatever that means, I think the greatest thing I can do is stay in the ring. So I'm not looking for that perfect picture fight right now. I've been champion. I'm not eager to have to be a champion again tomorrow, but I have to be back in the ring. I want to be able to do this again, promote a Thurman fight, continue the Thurman show, and just keep showcasing my skills and talent to the world. If something big opens up, of course, I'm the kind of guy that's hard to say no.
Welcome to another installment of Turn Up the AC Hot Takes with Reason on a solo edition. Now, today we're going to be talking about Keith one-time Thurman and what's next for him. We're going to talk a little bit about his Brock Jarvis fight. First time back in the ring for him in 3 years. He hasn't fought very much lately. Last 8 years, he only got 4 fights. Very inactive. He's 36 years old now. Former unified welterweight champion of the world. Let's talk about it. Brock Jarvis and Keith Thurman happened a couple of weeks back. And it's good to see Thurman back in the ring. I know it's not a name that nobody cares to see him fight. Me, I always rocked the one time. And I'm glad to see him back in the ring. I hope it's a quick turnaround for his next fight. As you can see up from the thumbnail, then for those of you who have seen the Fight Hype interview, that's where that little clip was from. I'm going to put the link to that interview in the description. But yeah, we're going to talk about it. So Brock Jarvis and Keith Thurman, initially, that first round, it wasn't too the best Keith Thurman. Of course, I expected to see rust. I expected to see him have a little bit of trouble early. And Brock Jarvis really had a good first round. I don't think he won it, but I thought he had a good first round. He landed some body shots on Keith Thurman. He tried to rough him up a little bit, and I thought that was what you're supposed to do as Brock Jarvis. You're supposed to make it an ugly fight, because the skill level between Thurman and Jarvis is definitely a big gap. And as the fight went on, it only went 3. It was ended, I think, the 3rd round. So the talent gap made itself visible very quickly. But overall, I thought Keith Thurman, him being in the ring, hasn't fought for 3 years since he fought Mario Barrios back in February of 2022. I thought overall he looked good. His power is still there. He can still swat. Keith Thurman's always had power. I think as a couple of rounds went on, round 2, I thought Thurman got into a rhythm, and he was just trying to throw some hard shots at Jarvis, and until he was eventually going to catch him. And it was pretty obvious that he was eventually going to catch him. But one thing I thought about Keith Thurman in that fight, before we move on to what's next, I thought he was trying to get hit. I thought he was trying to take stuff to the body, just because he hasn't been in the ring with anybody in some years. So I think he was trying to get hit, trying to, just get the feel for it again. And to end the fight, once he caught Jarvis, he started stalking him. And he threw a beautiful 4-punch combination that ended up with uppercut. And then it was basically it from there. And then, because when Jarvis got back up, Thurman came in there, landed one big power shot. That was all she wrote. But so shout out to Keith Thurman. Congratulations to him. That was a good win. I don't care who it was against. It's good to see him back in the ring and getting a victory by knockout. Because when the talent gap is that big, really put him out of there. And he did that. So salute to Keith Thurman for getting Brock Jarvis out of there in a timely manner. I thought it would go like maybe 5 or 6 rounds based off the rust from Keith Thurman, but he got him out of there in 3 rounds, and that was awesome to see. So what's next? Last year he was scheduled to fight Tim Tszyu, but he got hurt. Tim Tszyu is coming off of 2 losses last year, against Fundora, which I thought if it wasn't for that cut, Tim Tszyu was gonna stop Fundora. And the first 2 rounds until that cut, that's exactly what was going to happen. At some point, he was going to stop Fundora. Then he came back, and then he lost again. But he fought a dangerous fighter. Off the top of my head, I can't think of the name. I don't want to butcher his name, but he's at 54. And he's someone that is avoided right now. But Tim Tszyu don't duck no smoke, win, lose, or draw. You gotta salute that man. So not only is Tim Tszyu on the short list for Keith Thurman of what he's looking for, but like as far as like big names, Errol Spence, that fight is still something I want to see. Spence and Thurman should have fought years ago, but you know, a number of things happened. Did Thurman duck? Yes, he did, but at the same time, he also was injured, and you know, I want to see 100% Keith Thurman fight 100% Errol Spence. I don't want to see either of them compromised. I want to see who, you know what I'm saying, who's going to dog the other, because there's bad blood there. And I still want to see that fight. So that's definitely a potential opponent for Keith Thurman. And then lastly, the other name that was thrown around was Jamal Charlo. No, excuse me, Jamal Charlo. He's at 54, so it would be Jamal Charlo. That would be a great fight. He hasn't fought in a couple of years. Well, since because both Charlos are rumored to be coming back to the ring soon. So if it's at 54, it's obviously going to be Jamal Charlo, who hasn't fought since he got beat decisively by Canelo a year and a half ago, something like that. So those are the three names that, like, big names that he could fight next. But for Tim Tszyu, if he's a possibility, he's got a fight this weekend coming up against Joey Spencer, which isn't no gimme win. You know, it's gonna be tough. He's gonna have to work for it. But I still think Tim Tszyu is gonna come out victorious in that fight. If he's still the same guy, you know, getting stopped and then having that big ass gash in his head, you know, against Fedora, it could do something to your psyche. You know, seeing all that blood coming down for your head and then getting stopped. So we're going to have to see with Tim Tszyu first, how he looks against Spencer. And then rumor had it that they're talking about the Charlos potentially coming back in like a month or so. Maybe I want to see both of the Charlos get a tune-up in before they fight anybody worth of note. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see... I think the next fight that would make a lot of sense would be... Thurman and Errol Spence. Two big names in the sport. I still think there's an audience for that fight, even though it should have happened when they were at 147. There's still an audience for that fight, and I'm definitely one of them. I'm definitely paying to watch that fight, you know, when that time comes. Errol Spence and Keith Thurman have been, you know, they've been staring at each other from across the street for a long time, and for, you know, a variety of reasons it hasn't happened yet. So let's just hope that it can happen, because, you know, Errol Spence doesn't take tune-up fights. He just goes right into who's next, and, you know, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. So, and we haven't seen him since he got whooped by Terrence Crawford. So I think Errol Spence coming back, fighting Keith Thurman next. That's the one that, out of the three possibilities between Charlo, Tim Tszyu, and Errol Spence, I really hope that Keith Thurman and Errol Spence are the ones that line it up. But if you go watch the Fight Hype interview with Keith Thurman, he said it really don't matter who it is. He just wants to get back in the ring. It doesn't have to be a big name. It doesn't have to be a world champion. Just anybody. Like, he's ready. He's ready for the smoke. He's ready to just get back in and get to work. And him being 36 years old, I love to hear that. I want to see him maximize what he has left in his career. Hopefully he can give us a good 2 years worth of fights, man. 3-4 more fights, you know, and he can call it a career. But he did mention wanting to be a world champion again. Doesn't have to happen next fight. So like I said, I just want to see him get in the ring and just get another camp under his belt, a full camp, because he said he didn't really have a long camp with the Jarvis fight. It was kind of a short one. But, you know, I want to see him get a full, whatever, you know, he thinks at this point in his career is a full camp. Is it 12 weeks? Is it 10 weeks? You know, it's up to, I just want to see him get a full camp and fight somebody like an Errol Spence. Like I said, but any of those three fights between Tim Tszyu, the Charlo, one of the Charlo brothers, and then Errol Spence, either of those fights I'm definitely happy with. Shoot, if Joey Spencer beats Tim Tszyu and he fights Spencer, I'm cool with that. Like, I just want to see Keith Thurman in the ring with somebody, get him another camp in, and then see how he really looks. Because obviously he was gonna always beat Jarvis, And so it's kind of tough to say like exactly how much Keith Thurman really does have left in the tank. So with all that being said, you know, one of those 3 fights, if it's the Charlo, Zoo, or Spence, I think that'd be great next for him. So, but I think out of the last, in order, I want to see Spence, Zoo, and then one of the Charlos, if, you know, there is an order. Now, for those of you in the comment section, let me know, man, if there's anybody else I'm forgetting that he could fight right now. Now, obviously, if he goes up and fights like a Madrimov, he's getting smoked right now. Ortiz, he's probably getting smoked right now by Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? Because he's just not that young anymore. But I think at this point in his career, if Thurman's able to fight somebody next, get another win, and one of those big names comes knocking, because let's keep it a buck, whether you like him or not, Keith Thurman is still a big name in the sport. And one thing about Keith Thurman, he can sell a fight. And I'm looking forward to whoever gets to smoke next with him. I'm watching. So it's been Reason. In terms of AC Hot Takes, I just wanted to give my thoughts on who potentially Keith Thurman was fighting next, and you know, give my thoughts about that. So go ahead in the comment section, let me know who you want to see him fight. If it's any of those 3 that we mentioned, you know, from Charlo, Spence, or Tim Tszyu, or even Joey Spencer if he pulls off the Tszyu fight. You know, or somebody that we forgot to mention. Let me know in the comment section, and let me know what you think happens. Or is this it for Keith one-time Thurman? Is he not gonna fight again? He gonna disappear again? Let me know what you think, and you know, we'll go from there, man. So this has been Reason. Turn up the AC Hot Takes. We're out.